Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. I'm Talia and I'm a new grad occupational therapist. In today's video we're going to be talking a little bit about job interviews and what you can expect. So this is going to be based on my experiences as a new grad OT in Australia, with my interviews happening in 2018 and 2019, just in case there's a major change that happens after this or has happened in the past. So I thought I'd start with the different types of interviews that I've experienced and some of my friends who are also new grad OTs have experienced. Firstly, there's more of the casual, informal style one-on-one conversations. So I've had this over the phone or in person, where they're really just trying to get to know you in a more relaxed setting. They might still go through the typical interview questions of what are your strengths, what are your weaknesses, what's a time you've messed up and what did you do about it, but it feels more calm and relaxed. And then there might be more informal panel interviews where there might be 3 people sitting across from you. For me, it's been an OT, a principal, and someone from HR, and it did still feel more calm and relaxed, and they acknowledged that. They acknowledged, we have these questions to ask you, but we really want you to feel comfortable. We're wanting to get the best out of you. And then you might have more formal, structured interviews where it's very clear that there's a division between people on the panel and yourself. You might be sitting away from the table, it still might be across from a table, you might have your own little table, but there's a clear distinction that this is more formal, more structured, and it can feel like an exam. So on these panels, there's usually an occupational therapist, but there might be other health professionals or educational professionals or whoever's relevant to the setting you're interviewing for. For example, a school interview, they might have teachers, the head of special education, a principal. At a hospital, you might have physio, speech pathologist, a psychologist, a doctor perhaps, a nurse. It really depends on who's been chosen for that interview panel, but there usually will be an occupational therapist. But that's something important to consider, that not everyone on the board may understand the OT models or the OT lingo that you're using in your answers. Something else to consider about these more formal interview panels or styles of interviews is that you might have time limits. Now you might have time limits in your other interviews that feel less formal or informal, but sometimes they're more relaxed about them. They'll be like, oh, it's okay, keep going. That's just for me to realize where we're up to. But in informal interviews, this can be really important, and that can be a criteria, how you can succinctly communicate information within a time period and make sure you're hitting all the important points that they're looking for. You may also experience case-based or scenario questions or interviews. Now, I've experienced this as part of one of the aforementioned interview styles, so as part of a one-on-one or a panel interview, just as another section of the interview process, or as a question embedded within those conversations. So these can be around the types of typical presentations or difficult situations that you might come across in this setting, and they might be looking for your problem-solving skills, or how you use your previous knowledge, or how you might draw on the people around you to work through different situations. So a question I have been asked is, what would you do if you walk on the ward and there's someone fluidly psychotic? What would your next step be? So it's kind of problem solving, what's our action plan, risk management, all those types of things. So I've had that presented to me as a question verbally, and also as a paper-based exam that I've been given with a case study and then follow-up questions. I've also experienced group observation. So this was where there was a group of us who had been brought to the interview stage, and we as a group were given a scenario that we need to create a sensory room for a ward. So we had to sit at a table and brainstorm, what do we need for this room, what do we already have, what don't we need. And it's really looking at us being able to work with others, our listening, our contributions, our teamwork. It's really looking at teamwork, I think. And it did feel kind of uncomfortable because it's like we're doing a group assignment, but we are really all on guard for being, I need to contribute, but I need to listen. It's a fine balance and not cut people off and things like that. It's really interesting to watch other people, how they present themselves in those scenarios, and sometimes you're sitting back thinking, oh, you speak more, contribute more, or like, no, let's give them more time to contribute, or maybe tone it down. I've had friends also experience report simulations where they've been given a time frame and a report template setup type situation. All right, you have this amount of time, write a report. And to see how you handle that kind of pressure, the quality you can produce in that time, just how your written communication is. You can put on your resume high quality, or high quality written communication or high written communication, but they don't know for sure until they actually see that, do they? And also your resume can be an indicator for whether that is true. So make sure you're reading through your resumes and you don't have little grammar mistakes, formatting mistakes, things like that. Have other people look at your resumes. In this video, I also wanted to talk about the mindset going into interviews, which I found helpful. So the first one is they want to see you perform at your best. They're not trying to catch you, trying to trick you out. Is that even a thing? Trick you out, trick you up. They're really trying to set up a comfortable environment for you. A lot of them will acknowledge that this is quite formal and it can feel a bit uncomfortable because it feels like an exam, but they really want you to do your best. They want to see your best. So that's something that's really helped me, that these guys, they're on my side. They're wanting to see the best. They're wanting to find someone who suits this job. They're wanting it to be you. Every time someone walks in their door, they're just hoping, is this the right person for this job? They're hoping you're the right person. Something else at the end of the day that I like to think about is that I'm interviewing them in a way. I don't know everything about this position. I don't know if I truly fit this position or if it meets everything that I'm looking for in a position. So during your question time, that's a really important opportunity to be asking additional questions to them. Why do they like to work there? Asking questions that are things that you need in your job. What's the supervision like? What's the carer's leave like? And we can talk about that more in another video, the types of questions to ask at the end of interviews. But those are two mindsets or things to consider going into an interview as well. That they're not trying to catch you out. They want to see the best of you, and that at the end of the day, you're interviewing them as well. You're wanting to know if this role suits what you're looking for as well. They want to know if you suit the role. You want to know if the role suits you and the workplace suits you. Alright guys, so that brings me to the end of this video, but I'm going to be making a video on how to prepare for interviews, the things to do before interviews, different types of questions that might come up, and different ways to present your answers, because you will get some multiple part questions, not just what is your strength, but what is the time you demonstrated this, this, and this, and this. And it can get a little bit confusing, and where am I? How much time do I have left? So I want to be talking more about how you can approach those types of questions in another video. But if you enjoyed this video, let me know down below, give it a thumbs up, share it. Hope you found this helpful, and I'll see you guys next time. The rubbish bin is back. The rubbish bin, the rubbish truck, collecting the rubbish bins. It's been a long year.